Ross. I'm the founder of Band Without Borders. What we do is we try and deliver aid to hard-to-reach areas. So we deliver short-term aid to people before the larger organisations move in with multiple weeks' worth of food that they drop off. So our main aim is to make sure that no one starves in Ukraine. And we also deliver things like blankets, sanitary products, soaps, you name it, we deliver it.
So all the way from Britain we've got Fenton, our favourite Welshman Darren.
Hello.
Councillor Paul from Hertfordshire.
Hello.
We've got Elijah the mechanic. Just been blown to pieces.
At Ukrainian checkpoints, they dress up dolls like soldiers.
We've got Nick. We've got our favourite American, Paul, who's 75 and has come all the way out here to help.
Hi.
Dr. Artem, our godfather and also lieutenant in the Ukrainian army.
Hi.
And we've got the local priest, Father Vladimir.
Hello.
We started off as a 3-man team. We've expanded to 15 plus members, all individuals who volunteer with their vans and come over to help. Such a privilege to be able to be here and make a difference. And thank you to everyone who supports us and enabled us to do a lot of good in Ukraine.
From Kharkiv down to Dnipro, evacuated a family from there across to Romania.
So Nug's a really cool guy. We first got in contact with him in March, April time when we'd first come over to Ukraine, and he reached out to us after he saw our work on social media and asked how he could help. And he ended up advising us on where we should and shouldn't go in the country, where we could get, and how to avoid the Russians. And this was at a time before there was really any proper press coverage about where the lines were, the latest updates and everything. So he was an invaluable asset and helped ensure that we were able to reach people in serious need where other charities can get to.
Have you seen any presence from big international NGOs out on the actual ground?
No, you'll see them where they want to be seen, in my opinion. For example, when I evacuated the family from Dnipro out, just crossing the Romanian border, there wasn't a soul anywhere, apart from a few vans of volunteers doing their own thing, making soup and things like that. There's no UN, there's no Red Cross. You'll see them all around Lviv and in super safe border areas, but that's not where they're needed. They're needed in the central villages and where they're desperate. They've got no fuel, water, food, medical supplies, things like that. They're nowhere to be seen, but they're all getting filmed in Lviv and outside the nice restaurants there, like unforgivable really. And as for that traffic jam that they then turned a humanitarian corridor, that's a joke. Nothing humanitarian about that traffic jam. It was a traffic jam. They just named it a humanitarian corridor. Load of crap.
What's been your experience with British servicemen who served over here? So a lot of volunteers from Britain have been dubbed the Lads Army as such. So you've got volunteers, you've got people who are mercenaries as such. What's been your opinion of British fighters in Ukraine?
Well, you've probably got 3 types. You've got the ones who just want to fight. Those types don't really achieve much. You've got the others who want to come here for attention. They don't achieve much either. But you've got other types who really do want to help and they will fight. And they're the guys who don't have Facebook profiles and Instagram and run around like half of the clowns you see here with the selfie stick instead of covering their arcs and doing a soldier's job. You see half of these fools running around with cell phones. Well, where I come from, you sanitise everything you've got before you take a foot forward on the ground. All these clowns getting attention on the internet are idiots, in my opinion. And I know guys out here who are fighting and been fighting since 2014. They're still here as patrol commanders. One of them is in Mariupol now, and he has no internet footprint at all. They're the guys that are doing well. And there's quite a few of them too. And I know the guys, because I've met them, the guys love them, would follow them anywhere. That's what they're doing right now, as we speak.
Do you think this conflict will be resolved anytime soon?
The Russians want the area of Mariupol and the coastline there, and they want to link that land bridge from Donbass to Crimea. I think what they did around Kiev was just a sideline, to be honest, while in the background they achieved what they wanted to achieve and take that land bridge where Mariupol and the fighting's going on now. It's been going on for 8 years already. This isn't the new thing. They've just rolled across the border in another area. Remember, they've been fighting here for 8 years. Crimea was Ukrainian, is Ukrainian. So's Donbass. And they'll try and replace the people there, move Russians in, then hold a quasi sort of vote, and then say, oh look, everyone's voted, like what happened in Crimea, and they'll all vote to be part of Russia. wave a few flags. It's all a load of crap, really.
This is quite common at Ukrainian checkpoints. They dress up dolls like soldiers. So this is quite a tame one we've seen, but normally they're there with bits of piping that look like N-laws just to slow down the traffic. Or with an A-gate.
So every time we leave Ukraine, we make sure to hit a few cities in the west of Ukraine before we cross the borders. These cities are such as Vinnytsia or Zitomir, and we make sure that the people there are supported.
We do a lot of work over here to help people with Down syndrome. That's for a variety of reasons. One being, they're pretty vulnerable people in a situation where they shouldn't really be in the middle of a war. And so we do what we can to try and ease the pressure of their day-to-day lives, but also because my younger brother Max has Down syndrome. So it's very important for me that we help people with Down syndrome over here. And this spot in Vinnytsia, you can see the memorial in the background there. That memorial's for a young 4-year-old girl with Down syndrome called Liza, who was murdered when the Russians bombed this area. Her mum was taking her out for a stroll in her pram and she was killed. These are people who, they pose no military threat, and genuine, lovely, caring people. And for innocents to be murdered like that, for me it's heartbreaking. I think for most people it's heartbreaking. I don't understand why this area was targeted at all when it's a completely civilian area. My younger brother Max, he understands that I'm in Ukraine and I'm in a war zone. It's hard for him as well, me being over here. And it's quite sweet of him, really. He knows I don't like cheese, and so he was texting me, "Oh Jack, come home, there's loads of cheese in Ukraine." And so he does understand the seriousness of the situation, the danger over here. And this all just makes it a lot more real. I tend to think I've got my emotions under a lot of control over here, because we do see some pretty horrible things. But, this is raw being here, being at the scene where she tragically died.
This was basically just a theatre. It's just a theatre. Always has been. Everyone's come here and seen concerts. My partner's seen musical concerts here. They always have big things here at Christmas with choirs. Nothing military here at all.
This is where the missile hit. See all the shrapnel, just the sheer force of the explosion, and that's charred to a crisp and completely gutted. So this here is an ambulance which has been, you can see it's been machine gunned through and just been blown to pieces. Jesus. This here is some sort of HGV truck, which has also just been blown to bits. Looks like it was carrying bottles, glasses, yeah. Recycling truck, it looks like. Oh no, beer. Unclear whether they're full or empty before they got blown up.
If Ukraine will fall, that will be just the beginning of a huge war.
We first met the Colonel back in April time when we first came to Ukraine. So one of his guys, Artem, had reached out to us on Instagram because he'd seen what we were doing. Said, "Oh, if you come by Kiev, let me know because I'm stationed here." And thanks to Artem, we were able to go into Bucha and Irpin just a few days after the fighting stopped, which made us one of the first humanitarian groups to go in there and provide essential aid to people.
This is the only one option for us. If we will lose this war, we will lose our country and we will lose future for our children.
The Colonel was also fantastic and really essential to our mission back in April, as he gave us a piece of paper which granted us access to anywhere we wanted to go to in Ukraine, and he was the first military leader to do so.
My family is still in Ukraine and my wife is also in the military, but now she's in the western part of Ukraine with her unit. My children are with my parents. Starting from 2014, we have a lot of female soldiers in the Ukrainian army, and sometimes I can say that they are doing their job even better than men. We don't have any gender problems in the Ukrainian army. My personal opinion, if a female wants to serve Ukraine, to defend Ukraine, they are welcome.
So we visited the Colonel just before we left this time, just to say thank you. We can't disclose where he is because it is a secure facility, but as I said, he's been invaluable to our work in Ukraine and a massive asset in getting us started.
I want to say to people of Britain, say thank you for your support in this hard time for Ukraine. We appreciate it for what you are doing for us and for peace in Europe, because I believe that here in Ukraine at this moment, at this time, it's a new phase of world history, beginning. And you are helping us to stand against superpower like everybody thought.
So we're stuck at the border, absolutely boiling, so bonnet's open, but Elijah has very kindly rigged us up ginger proofing to protect us from the sun. Very patriotic as well. How are you feeling, Fenton? Ginger proofed?
Yeah, still hot though.